And welcome back. We are not done yet. We have yet one more series for you here this evening to round out the weekend, and it's going to be Sin Prisa Gaming going up against the Seoul Dynasty. We already saw one Seoul team fall. This into the lower bracket. This would send Dynasty out of this knockout stage. Can it happen again? Sin Prisa, the Slayers, looking strong. Can they do it twice?
Well, they've just seen both Seoul teams falter. But if Dynasty do win today, they get to have another Seoul Bowl next week. I do got to say, though, between SPG and Seoul Dynasty, technically speaking, it's got to be done. None of these teams actually can make it through to the playoffs from this bracket. Dynasty still have a pathway through the play-ins, which they're guaranteed to play through. Sin Prisa do not, so they just got to do the best they can, get as many upsets as they can, help their buddies O2 Blast out by rolling through the bracket and maybe taking the Seoul Inferno out after beating the Seoul Dynasty. As this team is starting to, they're growing on, starting to become fan favorites.
Yeah, I mean, just incredible performances from them. Even just yesterday, found out that we have brothers on this team, which was very much a shock to me. But they have looked absolutely incredible in their play. Really strong performances from them just yesterday. Granted, yes, a little bit of a kind of weaker opponent inside of the Dragons, but the Dynasty are not safe from that same amount of scrutiny that we give to the Dragons either, because it has been a rough season for them as well. We'll see if Sin Prisa can continue to be the Overwatch League Slayers. They have now been joined by the ranks of O2 Blast in that same regard.
Well, they've, I was going to say beaten the same teams, but that wouldn't be true because Sin Prisa were the only ones that played up against the Shanghai Dragons. Seoul Dynasty, they lost to O2 Blast. They beat the Guangzhou Charge. Now they have to try and get past Sin Prisa, who at this stage have also themselves, actually they just beat Shanghai twice really. So Sin Prisa have done the same team, but they slayed the same dragon twice because they're still farming XP and they don't want to move into the next zone yet until they've sort of just, done the same boss a couple of times. Do I have all the drops I want? Okay, we'll move on to the Tiger now. And then we'll get to the Demon one a little later on.
Still give experience. Kill it until it's gray. Either way, though.
Is that when you're trying to get experience? The name goes gray and then you're done.
Yeah. Well, Void enjoyers can rejoice because once again, he is going to be back on at the starting lineup here for the side of the Seoul Dynasty. Saw some very strong performances from him just yesterday, which, alongside him playing Junker Queen, it looked like a bit of a reinvigorated Dynasty compared to the things that we've seen in the past. But this is going to be, in all likelihood, a much stronger opponent for them to try to deal with.
I mean, yeah, they look good versus Charge, but Charge have definitely got issues that they've had to get past. Sin Prisa did good at 5 against Dragons, and Dragons, they really kind of put their best foot forward for that particular matchup. Wasn't good enough to beat Sin Prisa, and a lot to learn there. If you are Seoul Dynasty looking from the outside in, you got to reveal a little bit more of your own hand versus the Charge, which Sin Prisa will now have seen as well. They know that, especially with Void, and very easy to determine what the matchup is going to be. So for the rest of SPG, it's just coming down to, well, what do they want to bring out to the table? I don't know if you just want to do the ball straight away on the control map. I think that's something you definitely want to say for the Flashpoint. But Milgara's played plenty of things across the board.
I think you just run it all the time. But yeah, I mean, we have been seeing the Orisa from him as well. Aid, somebody who's just been absolutely destroying when it comes down to that Bastion performance, but although was the one who was very much in the spotlight after yesterday with his performances on everything that he was touching. I believe we saw, Tracer, we saw May. I think even the Soldier 76 was worked in there. And it was just star-studded the whole way throughout that series. So I'm expecting more performances like that from him. This time, though, he is going to be going up against the likes of EasyCon, who also had a whale of a time on Bastion, and then the GOAT himself, Prophet.
And they're both Bastion teams. I think both teams have really leaned heavily towards the Bastion, because you will look at these Junker Queen comps, or you look at comps that are played with this Seoul lineup, and it's like, you can tell that some teams lean heavy towards the Genji. You can tell that some teams would rather play the Bastion. The Sim is always optional in there. Some teams would, you could do the double hit scan as well. You even, technically speaking, if you're going to do Sim and Bastion, that kind of is double hit scan in its own way. We're going to go towards Lijiang Tower, which is the brawl favored map rather, which I think is very expected by the Seoul Dynasty, given that they want to be forcing Junker Queen the entire way through. So that's a good one to start out on.
All right. Good old Lijiang had a little minor departure from that at the beginning of the last series, but we're back on track now, it would seem. It seems bringing this map to the forefront. Straight back onto it for an El Clasico. Let's see who is going to be able to get that first blood, get that initial map win under their belt. There's a lot of eyes here on the Dynasty. Obviously, high expectations. They haven't been able to meet throughout the season thus far, and they do not want to falter at this point. Might not be the playoffs quite just yet. Might not even be able to make it into them. You know, even if they can make a run through this tournament, but can that playoff profit form get unlocked?
It depends on what hero he's playing as well. You know, Sim is not the biggest carry hero, so you would need to see profit onto something like an Echo, something like a Genji. But Seoul Dynasty have been so heavily, again, leaning towards the Bastion. It means that Profit has to play more slightly supportive role on the Sim. SPG going to go towards the Orisa to start things out on, which is also what they played versus Infernal when they were on Lijiang about a week ago now. 8 on the Bastion to no one's surprise.
Not shocking at all. The name, of course. Surprised that I could go without speaking his name quite just yet, but now I am saying that he's dead. He had a whale of a time yesterday, but this is going to be a little bit of a rougher beginning here for him. He was set up, so to make a quick exit, able to stay away from Tunjay and not get knocked off the side of the map, but then just bouncing that bomb forward, finds Krillin. Full support's dead off the rip, and that's going to be the initial lockdown, going the way here of Sin Prisa with relative ease.
And although has been, again, the master of these first bloods, we saw it yesterday when they played versus Shanghai Dragons, he'll do it again on the May. And then dime out. Follow kill was so much better, and although 2 in a row first bloods.
Got another one right into the next fight. Now Krillin taken down again. Easy Han going to be getting his taste of the dirt. As the cleanup can come through, Javelin going to go a little bit wide, but it does not matter because Void is going to be taken out. And so far, Sin Prisa are absolutely feasting.
Late death on the Vindime as I think he was trying to wall ride back to spawn. It's caught. I'm really enjoying the Mei here because the Mei offers a lot of counterplay versus TP strats. You can really block a number of players from either entering or exiting the TP safely. Otherwise, SPG, they're not afraid just to match up against Dynasty. When Dynasty take the TP, SPG there on the exit, and they'll take you down.
Well, now the window set up, and Venom going to be taken down again. I thought he had broken line of sight, but Witch off on the flank, managing to find him. Now Krillin as well, dead, and it's just a support though, constantly getting cycled back into the spawn room. Void will join them, only 60% built up towards that rampage. Meanwhile, it's almost 60% on the point itself here for the side of SPG. Have only had to commit 1 ult to this map so far.
And they kind of won the last fight around the 50% mark as well. And we've only had 3 fights in that time, which we've had it's a lot of fights to have in that time. So it's been fast. These engagements have been nice and quick. Sorry, this time around, it won't do too much except just slow things down.
Uh-oh.
The wall makes things... Okay, the wall made things a lot more interesting.
Locks them in. I mean, you wonder, something that you've been saying, how do people die to this ultimate? Well, that's how. The setup is just absolutely gorgeous. Easy Han diving off the side, just going for the reset. Then him again, going to be taken down as he is wall riding, and he is one of the ones that he can stay alive to try to get the escape onto the point. Boy, now going to be locked out of the spawn room doors, taken down, and this map, this round is over. Window will get popped. Can they find a kill? That is the question. They are just charging forward. The Blizzard in front of the spawn room doors, and I do not believe the scenes that we are witnessing at the moment. Easy Han will come away with the parting gift, maybe even the first kill that the Dynasty got. You'll have to confirm that one. But
it is.
100-0. Yeah, 1 kill, 2 at the very end. As Milgaro does die. But good God, they just got absolutely pounded into the pavement.
I mean, Milgaro just completed the Kiss the Spawn Doors challenge on an Orisa. So it's not even like you're playing a Winston or a ball or something that you got I can just run to your spawn and run away. And Orisa is like fully committed. That's different. That you were really having to do well to do that. But as far as, you know, Bastion ults goes, I mean, typically you don't die to it because you can just run away or use some sort of shift ability. But when you're in the white room, and although it locks you in with a maid wall, that's actually huge. And so again, even when he's not the one getting the opening first blood for the kill itself and the kill feed, he's enabling it.
Utter dismantling there on the first round. Can it happen again? Already, HP bar is going to be going low. Krillin popping the immortality field, which is going to be dealt with very quickly here from the side of Milgaro. Exchanged on either side, but then Krillin does get whittled away at. Taken down. Han up top, just trying to find some value, trying to find some poke damage. Taken down low, has to break that line of sight, and can't really support the rest of his team, and can't really receive any heals either. First lockdown to the point, once again going the way of Sin Prisa, and Easy Han dealt with even before that TP goes up onto the high ground.
Wow.
It's still just 2 kills. We'll keep track of it.
It's still 1 actually, because the late kill doesn't count after the game's over, right? So technically speaking, it's the 1. And the opening frag is on stop for SPG. The ult charge is already there. One fight, Wuchan's got the window, and now shredding through the window is Aid on the turret form.
And they have decent line of sight to try to break this one, but Hyunjae just dives on top of Prophet, finds 2. Okay, there's going to be a second elimination as Easy Han will be able to come away with Hyunjae. So far, Easy Han, 100% of the kills for his team. He's deadlifting. But no closer to getting themselves over to the point. 40% built up.
I mean, good news is Dynasty are actually building ultimate, so there was something here. Artillery down first from Aid. That will just force everyone back, but they'll sidestep it. That is an interesting wall.
Okay, Hyunjae going to be dead again. He's kind of getting cycled back into the spawn room. This time Prophet able to find him. With a piece of the pie, and Milgar dead to the bouncing bomb. Easy Han will be able to come away with that. Void finds all the cleanup now coming through. Wind in their sails, it would seem, just a bit here to the side of the Seoul Dynasty. Let's see how long that is going to maintain, though.
That
so do not want to be dead in the water.
That would have been rough for the Seoul Dynasty if they didn't get the first pick after using the Photon Barrier from Prophet, because that Photon Barrier was only going to be useful for chasing down a single player. It did not cover the point at all. It will not help you in the actual team fight. This one from Aldo can do a lot more. Completely ruins the Amp Matrix coming through from Krillin.
Okay, artillery strike going to be coming through. Sound barrier going to be dropped in as well by Vinham, and Prophet already taken care of. Hyunjae again, somehow finding a kill. There's her job for Milgar, who cleans up Krillin. The rest of the team is just going to get swept under the rug. Vinham trying to stay alive, trying to delay, cannot do so. Back in control here, Sin Prisa making their way up to that final fight territory, and they still have a window, and they can take a forward position once again.
I mean, things have slightly improved by, well, actually, improved by a lot for the Seoul Dynasty, given that they managed to get 35%. They won an actual team fight. They're not completely stuck in the spawn.
This window, but Prophet's already dead. Aid quickly comes up with 2 kills. They just can't try to TP back. He will be able to find a 3-man, 4-man anti actually off the back of that one, but then Void is dead. See the rotate around the backside. Vinham is just trying to get in a position where he can go for that last second test, get that tag, force out the OT, but he's already been dealt with, so now he's staggered. Now it's very much on Void, who's off the side of the map. Come again?
I don't think he will be. I think he's going to just stay in spawn for this one. Honestly, even without that, they probably don't touch, but yeah, it's not a good look.
Replay observers, help. Show me what just happened.
Maybe Hyunjae got the boot again. I would like to believe it.
And then force them off. I mean, that is the only acceptable scenario.
Void is off the map, out of the chair. Bellisri is going to come in next map. That's what it looks like to me. Aid is all smiles as he finishes the map flawless, 0 deaths. Sin Prisa, scenes of what we saw from O2 versus Seoul Infernal. Both Seoul teams getting giga stomped on the opening controls today.
Yes. I'm sorry. I'm still at a bit of a lack of words here, but either way, Sin Prisa, what a hell of a way to kick things off. Map pick going to be the hands here of the Seoul Dynasty, but much like the Infernal before them, we need to see a completely different team coming into the next map if they want to have any chance of taking down Sin Prisa, because they are here, they are ready to frag. We'll see what happens and which map we're going to be going to when we come back in the break. And we are back, and no closer to understanding what in the hell we just witnessed on the first map. But either way, Sin Prisa stands with a nice little 2-0 victory over on good old Lijiang Tower, completely and utterly destroying the Seoul Dynasty and setting themselves up for perhaps another major upset here, as some faces there in the audience. But yeah, get ready to move forward. And Dynasty are going to have their map pick coming up here pretty darn soon. Where do they go to try to find success is the question.
Well, it's going to be a substitution first and foremost. We saw Void get out of the chair, which means Bellasaria is coming in. And
he could have just been pissed. He could have just got up in rage and then has to sit back down and cool off before playing again.
He rampaged out of the chair. That's what happened.
Much like he did off the side of the map.
He ulted. I saw him ult out of the chair. That's what happened. No, but Bellasaria actually is coming in. We're going to be heading over towards Midtown, which means we're going to play some Orisa. And, you know, I'll give the same spiel I gave Seoul Infernal after map 1 when they got demolished, which is to say, look, it's not the final look for the team of Seoul. They got more that they can show, and the more that Dynasty can show is playing some Bellasaria Orisa compositions.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see if that is going to be the difference makers. We do see him right there on our screens, hair worked back through the headset headband as per usual. Fans were rejoicing just yesterday with the return of Void and, you know, the gameplay that we got to see from him to help deliver the victory, but very rough beginning and a very different look comparatively. So we'll see how Bellasaria is going to be faring, because he himself only got to play, what, 1 map yesterday, but still had a quite a strong performance in his own regard. So we'll see if that is going to be a big difference maker here versus this very fired up Sin Prisa. Because, I mean, I could have said, you know what, I could see Sin Prisa winning this series. I could see them taking down the Dynasty, you know, further just becoming that Owl Slayer squad. But I did not have them spawn camping and blizzarding in front of the spawn room doors on Lijiang on my bingo card. So we're a little bit off the expected and beaten path.
Well, they were beating down the doors on the Seoul Dynasty. That's what happened there. But on Midtown, we can change the fate of Dynasty slightly, as the entire game plan and style of the Dynasty will shift gears. As I mentioned, Orisa versus Orisa. No, there will be no Wrecking Ball gameplay on Midtown. It's just not the map for it. It still comes a little bit later on. One more map later on Flashpoint. I think Milgaro definitely brings it up next map, but for Midtown at the moment, Orisa versus Orisa. How far does the Dynasty want to go, or either team really want to go towards the double flexible? Because we actually haven't had any Alari yet in our last series or this one, and Midtown's a great map for it. Hangzhou Spark played a little bit of that and saw Pineapple actually get an insane highlight with the Alari ult to the Captain Sun on Midtown, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was high impact plays there from Pineapple, somebody that we hadn't gotten to see too much of as of late, and comes back in. Didn't look like a day had gone by since the last time he was kind of sat on stage. He was very much comfortable, but Dynasty, can they find their comfort? That is the big question as we get ready to go into this one. It is their map pick, so we should suspect they're going to be feeling a bit more at ease coming into this, as they will be first on the attack. SPG starting off on this defense, and nothing shocking seen here.
Although on the Mei, I don't know if he'll stick on to this for the actual mirror itself. You have to expect that with Bellasaria in, it's not going to be more Junker Queen, so I don't think SPG are necessarily reading this wrong. They know what the matchup's going to be, although he's just going to play the Mei anyway. Krillin's now also going to lock in the LRH. There we go. That's what I was looking at. TP broken, by the way.
Alright, working their way forward here. Decent amount of damage. They do force them up here onto the high ground for the time being, so they can see the underpass. Still TP across now. This teleporter going to be taken down. So the exit strategy is eliminated for the time being until that comes back off cooldown. Still just going to poke and prod their way out of the fire station now.
Well, they have the high ground to play with, which for their comp is ideal. And they also have the slight lead for Matrix on Vindane. Spoken for now. We are going to lose time for it. Oh, that's quite aggressive from SPG. They use an Ice Wall to get up there.
Yeah,
Emil Khan just runs at Easy Khan.
Up into the top, and Easy Khan gets taken down. They're now taking a lead as Window's going to get committed here. But the biggest thing that they would have to play off the back of the window is already eliminated. That's Easy Khan. He's not in the fight. He's not in this fight. they're not going to get anything off this one. A big overcommit here from the side of Inname as the cleanup continues to come through. I believe an extended team kill coming across here as the first volley very much staved off.
I think Dynasty were thinking they could just burn down Milgaro, but Milgaro just shoves Dynasty right back towards SPG spawn, funny enough, because Dynasty had to, well, they TP'd aggressively, didn't they? And maybe that could have worked out for the Seoul Dynasty, but they just did not expect that SPG would have just shoved straight in. You have to expect that, though. 5 ultimates now just about up for SPG as their own window gets played. Or somebody didn't make the TP.
Gallery field had to be used there. Benham, you can see him getting whittled away at lower and lower.
Yeah, he didn't get the TP.
Connects. Yeah, he's dead. Point is going to be occupied for the time being here from the side of the Seoul Dynasty, but you hear that sound, and that's going to be artillery strike called in. What do they end up landing? Krillin is going to be losing out on one little bit of his kit now. The barrier coming up, Krillin up over the top, managing to snipe out. Wu-Chan finds that elimination, but as he gets the floor, he's going to be laying there as Milgaro takes him down. Easy on, gets a better evade. Some of those really there for a brief moment as he's going to be popping that Terror Surge looking for a turnaround kill, and he takes down a Milgaro. Sun out now onto two Hyunjae and all. They're both going to be falling as Easy Han scoops him up. That's going to be the point taken here from the side of the Seoul Dynasty fighting back. It looked like SPG was going to have that for a brief little moment, but kill off the back of the Terror Surge really helps seal the deal.
And I think Krillin is all starting that off with the Captive Sun. He got a frag off that as well. Prophet throwing in the photon barrier from very long away. That helps out the team that's still surviving on the point. And Bellastree, generally speaking, just living through the blizzard, living through everything. Double Terror Surges coming through, but it's Bellastree that gets the kill. And now Seoul Dynasty trying to make up for a little bit of lost time. They had to spend quite a decent amount to get to where they are. Wu-Chan on SPG now holding the only ult in the game.
Still all in the back pocket. The only ones they have at the moment has been him. Gets another window available. Should be able to make a bit of a better use of this one comparatively, just given the game state at the moment. He one decides to pull the trigger on that one. This is going to be a TP up here onto the high ground, rushing forward. Fortify comes through. Captive Sun thrown down. Immortality Field. Try to go ahead and bail them out for a little bit longer. Aid with the bouncing nade will take down Prophet, but now it's eliminated by Bellows re-up. 2-for-1 trade up here from the side of the Seoul Dynasty. Continuing. They're in a position where they can continue to push this cart forward and now onto it.
Yeah, there's Wu-Chan really caught out, by the way. This player is likely going to be dead soon. Needs to try and connect with the rest of the team, but Dynasty also not really committing to playing this, and Vindai might lose his Yul because he's going up against Pylon, and Pylon typically wins. Wu-Chan, if nothing else, is wasting a lot of time. He's wasting his own time, but he's wasting the time of the Dynasty to chase him as well.
Yeah. Cart wasn't really moving forward too much. A little bit of rollback there. It's just now really sliding down the ramp into the underpass. Have to go ahead and join back through, but Krillin, another Captive Sun at the ready. Could be monstrous to go ahead and continue to break through this push. This Prophet is about to have that photon barrier as well to go alongside of it.
Keeps her in the back. They don't get aid. Makes it out, although not so lucky.
Pylon's cleared on either side. Krillin looking to try to set up the Captive Sun, doesn't really find too much. Blizzard was committed here to try to slow things up a little bit, but now Milgaro is going to be taken down to the front line. Krillin just drawing quite a bit of attention. The cart is rolling forward. You can see, I mean, it's two supports to really try to hold the cart, and they're just going to get cleaned up. Wu-Chan's still around the back side, but Australia pushing up into his face, clears out the healing Pylon, takes him down. Alari gone. A little bit of delay here from the side of Aldo, but the push is going to come in all the same. Just shy of 3 minutes down the time bank for the side of the Seoul Dynasty.
Dynasty focusing on the payload there. Well done. Managed to trap SPG out there. Spawners SPG were not together, not consolidated as a team. And with the ultimate spent, SPG just nothing left to play through. Seoul Dynasty now have massive economy pushing on to see still a reasonable amount of time to try and finish the map as well.
Yeah.
They got the snowball rolling.
Certainly get slowed up here in this choke, but Zuhan looking to pave the way open. Mortality Field go ahead and deny a lot of that damage away. So got a decent tag in on a couple players, and Milgaro just tucking around the corner trying to stay safe. Their surge at the ready from both of these Aristas to push forward there with the Javelin, but it's a TP into the back line. Now the window's set up to really just make this completely unassailable for the enemy team. Prophet managing to find the enemy tank, takes him down. Sun Wu-Chan does eventually kill off Krillin, but at what cost? He's lost 2 players, he's lost their tank. Aid now gone as well. So much of the damage that they've been relying on taken out of the fray, and the cart rounds the final corner.
There's a little bit of a lack of healing here. It probably gets chunked out, but it looks like the Seoul Dynasty will stay Photon barrier to cut the map in half, and Dynasty still in a good position to finish the map, especially with the Terror Surge, the Nusa player.
Trying to get up into the face there. Guard trying to beam him down, but get the full charge going. It's dealt with by Wuchen. Nice kill. Get the punish. Should lead to a temporary reset here on the side of the Seoul Dynasty. Got time on their side for a little bit longer, so no reason to take any unnecessary risks, but they also need to try to exit here with their lives intact. Krillin sends up the Captive Sun. He'll try to set up some eliminations here for his squad, but it's going to be an aim and easy con eventually falling all the same, so kind of overstay. They get the ult committed into the fight as well, and that's a big win for SPG.
Not clean on the exit though, as Seoul Dynasty will get a couple of kills on their way out as they lose this fight. Oh, Bellisria, tricky situation. TP's away. Bellisria's life is safe, and that would have been really bad if Bellisria dies as well. Now time starts to look quite concerning for the Seoul Dynasty. However, the payload is at the end, so they need one good fight. So I've got ultimates to finish this off with. I like that Bellisria's kept the Terror Surge because that is a key ultimate to actually get this cap.
Okay, Aid opening.
They're about to kill each other.
Going through. See if the hits do come in.
Yep,
Yes, they do.
exactly killed each other.
Yep, both of them taken out. A stalemate at the end of it all. But certainly an opportunity potentially here for SPG. Get that faster run back for Aid. Get set up. I mean, it's looking like an overtime finish no matter what. Potentially get the deny.
That trade, by the way, is so much better for SPG because Aid spawn is right around the corner. Whereas Easy Gun has a much longer run back, and that's time wasted for Dynasty.
Time wasted, running lower and lower. Window to further buy it. Somebody's got to push over to get the card here. Bellisria tagging out, manages to make it happen,
nade.
but as he shows his head, the nade bounces through the window, gets the kill. Captive Sun going to be lobbed in, but we won't see too much on the back end of that one as the OT will bleed down. A successful hold here in front of Point C from the side of SPG. They do not allow for Dynasty to make it to the end of the map, and they give themselves a win condition.
I think slow down a lot, and I think for me it starts with the Krillin. Well, actually, no, it was the Wuchen kill onto Krillin with the Captive Sun, and we noted that, you know, Wuchen kind of just solo Captive Sun to Krillin. But the overarching downflow effects of that was, well, Dynasty were in a 4v5 because, again, Wuchen spawns around the corner. It's a very, you know, greedy ult in a way where you're just using it to kill one player. And he almost didn't kill Krillin, by the way. Had to hit him with the final headshot to enable the kill. But with Krillin down, Dynasty didn't have full 5, SPG did, and slowly Dynasty were just whittled down in the subsequent fights. They lost momentum. SPG then just played their spawn advantage for the rest of the defense. We had the artillery trades from the Bastions, but all of these trades, they favor the side of SPG. And eventually you just don't have any time left to play through. And this is exactly that moment we're talking about as well with the artillery trade.
Perfectly balanced as all things should be. Both players having the exact same idea, accepting their fates, and just getting blasted into oblivion.
I saw the same thing last week when it was, instead of two Bastions, it was a Bastion and a Junkrat. And they both went for each other the exact same way. Because if you think about it, it's kind of the same ultimate.
Ripped a little bit more into the artillery.
Yeah, it's with a little bit more work involved, but kind of the same ultimate, kind of.
Either way, entertaining, as is this ball that is now rolling out here from Milgaru, but he's taken out of 15 HP and swiftly dealt with. Krillin shutting it down, says, yep, I know to expect this from you, good sir. Pursues for the kill. Nice little early bump towards that Captive Sun. Milgaru gonna have to reset and go again.
SPG have to go to the end of the map here, so they can't afford to be too tricky about this. They have to actually have a comp that has some longevity. Because we're not just playing for 8. I didn't expect the ball to come through this early, but he's going to do it anyway. The issue is I don't know if Midtown is really that favorable for ball. And they are heavily committed to this comp because it's going to take some effort for them to swap off. Like 2 heroes. Sorry, 3 heroes would have to be swapped for them to go back over towards what they were playing before.
Felix Rocket's going to be going wide profit. Dodging out on those as he... Come ahead, gets amped up, takes down Wuchen, getting up into his face. Molten Core nearly online, 25% left to go for that. And no closer to really setting foot on the point here, our SPG.
Ventry on 87. Then Dime on 88. Actually, as I said, Hyunjae's about to get the 100, so yeah, it's going to be both of the windows up and early. SPG, well, they can get a lot working, because if you look at their comp, it's a lot of long-range damage outside of the ball, and with the slam down on a couple of members, Milgar is punished. Goodbye.
Yep, now Aid going to be taken down as well, and that's the window committed here from the side of Hyunjae. They're not going to be able to find anything off of this one. Although forced out of the window, Vindame still holds on to his own little amp matrix. And this is very much sliding sideways for Sin Prisa.
Took a risk. I mean, I don't think this is a good ball map. Milgar's 2-minute little excursion on the ball is time that you're not going to get back on this map, and beyond that, you've also fed a ton of ultimates to Dynasty, who sit on 5 now. So it's not just the time loss, but it's also the economic difference that Dynasty sit on.
Yeah. Trying to get this tac visor to find much value without, having something like that amp matrix to go with it. It's going to prove to be difficult, and look at the exit path. It's completely shut. The door slammed in their faces, and although dead to the artillery fire, minute and 20 seconds remaining here as the Dynasty look very well poised to pull off this full hold.
Between a rock and a hard place.
Okay, I thought he was going to try to go for a sneaky drop-down Terra Surge on them. Might still do.
You don't even need to make sneaky plays. Like, I mean, Dynasty can just play this normally. Play through the rest of their for ultimate advantage and just win. Like, for all of the good effort SPG put on for their defense, for them to potentially get full held now because they decide to go ball on a map that's not good for ball, pretty tragic.
Guard trapped in the corner, things coming down. Denham taking a bit of damage, but helping to keep the team alive as Easyhan. That bouncing nade will be able to find one. Millich rockets, although finally finds his target, takes out Profit. All the field's going to be cleared out, but now Aldo has to run away. Krillin mopping that captive sun, forces him back, so the rest of the attack visor not going to be finding value, but 8 gets yet another one. Gets it forward, Vinham now going to be eliminated. Belsria taking lower and lower. Krillin desperately going to be trying to keep him alive, but won't be able to do so in the end here, as Krillin is actually completely disconnected from him. Quite identify his position, but now Sin Prisa certainly has. Everyone just jumping up into his face. They take him out. Belsria now swapping back over as the cap gets ready to come through. This is going to be a last-second contest. Can't quite see if there's going to be a setup. It looks like they will just have to concede this one in the end. Krillin had not yet respawned, so a second lease on life, but only 2.5 minutes to try to get this push to be.
It's definitely one of the scariest things in the game when a Bastion just nade jumps into the window instantly in your face with pirate form. You have to remember that he can actually do that, even though the nade knockback distance I think got nerfed, so you can't do all the jumps anymore. You can still do some. SPG is trying to close the gap now, as time is the biggest factor. As we mentioned, they had lost 2 minutes of that just playing some ball. Dynasty burned the ultimates though. Dynasty really didn't get as much value on those ultimates as I would have thought, as they would have thought. SPG can just slowly push payload forward. You can roll out the carpet with the rush as well to either take high ground or just push it through to the end in the underpass.
Just gonna work their way out. Do this one. Window set up, push back off the high ground.
Wow.
Just denying that access, denying that damage across. Really nicely done there from Belsria. Further delaying Sin Prisa. The push still continuing, so we're through the underpass. But oh, what a window is this? Vinham just leaping up, taking the fight to him, and Easyhan managing to find 2 kills. Aid and Hyunjae both taken out, and Vinham is just going for one of the ballsiest things that I've seen. Such an odd placement, but he managed to find value off of it damn near instantly. He himself now in a bad spot. He juggled lower and lower, but Easyhan's here to protect him. Milgaru will just end up falling. Exchanging the Aristas there in the end, but now just a minute remaining.
And Easyhan just rolls up quite literally. At least they got to kill him to Balisria. However, with the late death of the Milgaru, it doesn't seem like they'll be able to do much with that Balisria death. As he'll be back now, especially the further the payload gets, the better it is for the Seoul Dynasty in terms of spawns. And raw distance on B doesn't matter because SPG have to finish the map. C is where it counts for ultimate. So here comes the rush on the high ground.
Attack visor at the ready. Although they're still hunting for a target. Clear away from the cart.
Nothing to shoot.
Don't find too much there. So again, artillery fire going to be layered in. Krillin, Captive Sun at the ready. Looking for the setup, sends it down into the underpass. 21 HP remaining here on this Alar. It's still somehow going to be alive. They're coming back up the Molten Core as well. Rolling from the side of Profit, just looking to make this as unassailable as humanly possible. And Milgaru will end up falling. Stuck in the lava, taken down by Belsria. We're still going to be holding on to that Terra Surge. Push up now onto the high ground, the Immortality Field to try to escort them forward. Terra Surge looking for the capture. for the kill. Won't be able to find him, but Vinham gets A. Now Wuchen taken down by Krillin, and that's going to be it. Overtime will bleed away. That is going to be a successful hold here from the side of the Seoul Dynasty, looking much more like themselves, much more like the team that we saw yesterday coming into their map pick.
Seoul Dynasty might be a rocky team at the moment in terms of where the successes and failures are, but they are not a team that you can disrespect like that, so you can't just simply meme on them. I mean, Lijiang was one thing, and you can shove your Orisa right into the spawn doors, but I think Sin Prisa learned a valuable lesson there in terms of what kind of real distance they can go on some of the memery. But I will say, Flashpoint is up next, and look, that is a viable ball map, so if you want to pull out the ball, Nilgaro, on that map, please do so. Midtown, though, might want to skip that next time.
Yeah, a rough position there, but still tied up 1-1. Still very much winnable for either side. We'll see who's going to be able to take the lead once we do dive into Flashpoint. I think we can take a very good guess as to where Sin Prisa is going to want to take us, but we'll have that confirmed when we come back, and also likely see some more of that Nilgaro ball. For his sake, this time around, hopefully it's going to be a little bit cleaner. But now we're going to go to a break, so don't go anywhere. And we are back, and we are tied up 1-1. The Dynasty took us over to Midtown, and then they just kind of rinse Sin Prisa Gaming, not allowing them to get over to point B. They successfully defend. And now we get to go into SPG's map pick here for Flashpoint. See where they're going to be going. But we do get Void stepping back in for Bellsreal once more, which means that we're going to be seeing some more of the Queen.
You better hope that Void has some good knife throwing accuracy, because it's one of the few ways they can shut down that bolt, assuming that it does come on through. Be questions about what the rest of the team does as well. I mean, in this sort of situation, you would love, if you really just want to shut down Milgar, you would love to play some Soma, play some Ana. Unfortunately, if you play those heroes, you start reducing the caliber of what the Queen brings to the table in terms of the synergy required in the composition. You also start just weakening your comp in general, outside of you know, being able to do anything else to anybody else on the team if you're not called Nilgara. So SPG can do some funny stuff here, where I think they start on the ball and just make it work. And so far it's been working. You play it until it doesn't work. If they're down a 0-2, I don't even know that they should let go of the ball at that stage. I was thinking maybe then you might want to swap and flat. As I've said, we've seen plenty of comebacks on Flashpoint, so
we have. And plenty of 5 rounders on Flashpoint as well, so perhaps that's going to deliver in that regard here as well. We'll have to just wait and see, though, as we get ready to jump into it. And let's see which is that map that's going to be. It's going to be Servasa this time around. Saw them play, it was New Junktown, New Junk City yesterday. So, slightly different look here, perhaps.
New Junkertown. Extend the map. I want to know what the geography is like. How far away is New Junk City from Junkertown?
I would think they would have to basically be attached, right? There's New Junk City. Is that something that...
Give me a map. I need the geographical layout. I need the lay of the land.
Yeah. When do we get the Overwatch MMO so we can really just know where everything is?
I'll have to get the BR, because you put Servasa and New Junk City together in one more Flashpoint map, and I can already see where we dropping.
Where are we dropping? Oh, we're gonna find out. Find out which points are gonna be unlocked. How many rounds it's gonna take.
4 Flashpoint maps together. You just stuck them together. That's a BR map.
True. We're that close to having an Overwatch Battle Royale. I'm sure some people.
That's a fun arcade mode. Here you go, Blizzard. Just make that into an arcade mode.
How do we do loot? What do you loot?
You know what? It's BR only in that a circle closes around you, and that's it. Everything else is still Overwatch.
I was gonna say, does everyone play May except your walls are permanent, so you can build structures?
You know what? You don't need structures in a BR. That's what we also discovered. However, in this matchup, no surprise for Dynasty and SPG. No surprise either. We ball in straight away.
Yep,
straight away.
Right out the gate with it. Completely unsurprising. As there's the crash through. Looking for Easy Han, takes him low, trying to roll up onto the top to get that pile driver through. Either way, the kill's still going to be found. 8 taken down to the side of SPG, but Dynasty very much losing out on multiple players here as Prophet Hunter's fired. Nice little push forward though from Boyd, and he just finds both supports in an instant. He looks to turn the tide of this one. Milgaru is far too low. He's not going to be able to escape, and Boyd, I think he is angry after that first display on the opening map, because good lord, he comes back in here with a vengeance.
Void, he's ulting in real life. He's farmed up the ultimate while he's waiting for his next map to be subbed into. And for SPG as well, I think Milgaru, he kind of messed up his jump up, because he was trying to get on top of one of the bits of geometry to land the slam, and while he was doing that, his team was kind of being rushed down by Void in the Seoul Dynasty. So, like, misplay on the pacing there from SPG, and it all does have to connect well together for you to get that value.
Cycle there for Void. Milgaru going to be dealt with swiftly here right off the rip. The rush forward now continuing as there's the pull in on the aid. Immortality Field committed to try to keep him alive. Pulse bomb out the wall though. Not going to be fighting too much of anything there either. Now 8 managing to survive. Just pop that artillery strike to try to turn the tides back here into their favor. Get them over onto the point. So far kills not going to be found in that regard, but it will be a trade out on the Baptiste. Brilliant and Kenjay both go down. 8 taken out as Void continues on this reign of terror, but eventually Milgar rejoins, he swings through, taking down the Junker Queen. Point now going to be occupied here from the side of SPG. They do not have Aid in a position to try to get set up, and that's going to be the TP forward onto the point to go ahead and interrupt it. Beat now used aggressively. Wuchan pushed to the side, killed off by Prop. It looks like this one is very much going to be going the way of the Seoul Dynasty. Just having to concede this over is SPG.
Yeah, no one else is coming back in. First point done and dusted. Huge killing spree for Void. 6 final blows, 6 out of a total 9. And we're going down bottom right. Easy rotations. You got both Lucio, you got the Sim there as well. I don't even know that Prophet really needs to be playing the Sim here. We'll do it anyway. Minefield nearly available for Milgar, so finally an opportunity for SPG to be able to cleanly get some sort of initiation and dive on.
Wild driver, decent setup for the kills. Void off the rampage. I believe not finding anything actually. Steady whip from him, but Aid taken down. Easy Han making use of this win to find that kill. Krillin will be able to get Aldo to boot. So everybody's still standing here on the side of Seoul Dynasty as they once again get the cap coming through.
Yeah, swiftly. SPG struggling to get a good dive in here. I thought Milgar was going to use the minefield after that power drive, but not the case. We'll use the double support ultimates instead, and Void will just dive directly on top of the window with his rampage as well. So he targeted Hyunjae, got Hyunjae. Did get Suzu'd out by Wuchan, but essentially it nullifies what the supports were really doing. And long range downtown, Eastcom, the first pick.
Still coming in. Easy Han finding a second as Aldo will also get taken out. Looks for a little bit more. Milgar just slinking away as best as he possibly can, but halfway there. Taking this up the map point now is the Dynasty. SPG need to find their footing here pretty damn quickly if they want to try to turn this thing around, but Alt's still very far off. Easy Han holds onto the artillery to really slow up that next approach as well. You can already hear it getting popped. Looking to try to intercept, spots multiple players, dropping it in, Genjay getting tagged up, and Mortality Field going to be taken out, although does not find too much value there with the pulse bomb. Second one used. Again, no kills found. 99% the OT forced out. Easy Han, however, going to be pressured in. Pressured out, I should say, as Milgar will be able to get on top of the Bastion, finding that elimination. On barrier, going to be expiring. 4v5 is time to try to fight this one back from Milgar. Gets on top of Drill and elimination popping now. Going to be taking down Void as well. Going to tuck in underneath the stairwell. Cannot stay alive. So a second lease on life here for the second point. SPG gain control.
As soon as you ignore Milgaru is able to do a lot of disruption onto that backline, and they wanted Aid down. They TP directly for him. Aid just jumps away from the high ground, sees the ground away. Will happily play with a little bit more distance, put in the turret form, and just beam Void down. So Dynasty didn't get as much as they wanted there. Now the artillery strike from the other team is Aid. Got some distance there, but the TP will just get everybody cleanly out.
TP to eggs, they're actually trying to push forward to catch Aid there while he was still in the animation, but are unable to do it. Big knockup coming through from Milgaru, pushing Krillin up into the sky. Immortality Field going to be used to get on the back end as Aid has been eliminated, although again with the pulse bomb, not going to be able to find the elimination. Rampage across from Void, catches on to 3. Chan only able to Suzu it off himself and catch the rest of the teammates, and they end up falling to the wayside. Second point now locked in here for Dynasty as they get themselves up the map point.
And top left rotation, that's actually going to be better for SPG. They got to get the rest of the players out, but they should be on point first. So again, a little bit of help for the team that's currently behind, as a Seoul Dynasty are in a good position. And I think Ruins actually plays super well into the Jungle King comp. So they've kind of lucked out RNG-wise on what could potentially be the final point. We do often see a lot of 2-0 starts on Flashpoint. It's very common.
It is. One we've seen right now from this side of the Dynasty. I'm not sure if that's going to be the case, if this is going to go all the way up to 5. Tsune Rush is at the ready. Ultless at the moment are the Dynasty as they go for the Kempo push, and they're just greeted by that anti-nade. Easy Han instantly dealt with, and maybe I have Caster Curse because Aid is on for the ace, and he is going to find it. Very swiftly cleaned up, and for the first time, SPG will hit the first nab of the point.
And so good to have the swap over towards the Ana as well, because it's one of the ways that you do counter out the Queen, counter out the TP as well. So something that I think Hyunchae should have looked at a little bit earlier. You've got to put the pressure on Void, and now Krillin has to be thinking about swapping over towards Kuriko. Cleanse off all of the CC coming through from the Ana.
Alright. Then in Prophet dealt with, just trying to get back into a position where they can reapproach here. Crucially, Aid though Ult at the ready. Try to slow up this advance.
Plenty of ways to enter. When you have Photon Barrier available, that's a very clear opportunity. First, just dodge out the artillery. Doesn't look like anyone should die here. All good.
Covered. Device not found, but nor are the shots. Just the immortality field used from Krillin. Just have that window available. Photon barrier in, although this time finally finds the stick, and given the immortality field that had already been used, that means Krillin cannot survive. Prop as well going to be dead on the back end. Void taken down. It's looking like 100-0 on this third point here. SPG will be able to get themselves on the board. Overtime will get forced out, but the kills are found. Everyone's dealt with. It'll tick down. We'll see where we're going next.
And they're just struggling to be able to get these engagements going. Every rotation, Dynasty get taking too much damage. They're being slowed down by something. Somebody's getting picked. The mortality field gets burned because you have to counter out the artillery somehow. All those slams dunk with the pulse bomb looking easy as well. Dynasty still have plenty of good options for opening up, so they can just ult here from artillery for easy hunt and then walk up with the rest of their players.
Flashpoint unlocks in 10 seconds.
Nano invested, paid the recipient, just trying to stay alive, trying to counteract this wall that comes his way, but the answering sound barrier is in from Vinheim, just keeping everybody alive, and suddenly SPG just completely disappear. An instant team kill found here for the side of the Dynasty as they once again assert the dominance and gain control of what could be the final point.
Even a nano being played onto aid there for the extra damage on the turret, but not enough because the Krillin window is going to double everything the Seoul Dynasty do. Now, as they double their efforts to try and finish off this map and get a lead in the series, go on to push with a 2-1. 70% away from that as Void reaches 100 on his own ultimate of the Rampage. Wuchan's got a big job ahead of himself in terms of cleansing his team.
Trying to go for the setup. Minefield still going to be held here. Then a rush out from Lijiang Krillin, going to be taken down. First kill found. Easy Hunt as well, under some fire, trying to be kept alive by Vinheim. Void, pressure peeled as Aldo will fall, but now this Void, Vinheim left standing. Everything left to do. Just going to have to concede this one to the end as Void goes down. Flip comes in, 74% set up here from the side of the Seoul Dynasty, so if they can get control again, likely will be the finisher here on this map.
Some fast heroes though. SPG playing Tracer and Ball, so likelihood of touching is actually reasonably high. The Dynasty have, in fact, yeah, for sure, put themselves in a decent spot. See what they can do in the retake here. Again, still holding on to Fashion Artillery as A's used that a couple of times now. Some good boops coming on. This could be deadly. Suzu burned by Krillin. Save his team. Good timing on that one. Oh, I like this. Go after Yana. She's really fragile.
Yeah. No escape, no mobility, does get taken out, although does get the pulse bomb there onto Easy Han during the artillery strike, so it is going to be a 1-for-1. Oh, just sliding around looking for yet another setup. Easy Han going to be swapping now over onto the soldier. Prophet pulling out the blade, pops the deflection to try to stay alive.
Oh, good Suzu.
Suzu used, yep, just try to keep him in the spite. Prophet still at a sliver of HP, helps up the kill there onto Aid, but then gets traded out in the end. 2 kills here from the side of SPG, who look to tie things up. Push continues, they're looking for the name now, taking him low as he wall rides around. He's tracking here from the side of Aldo, can't quite hound him down. Instead, they turn their sights over to Easy Han, who has since back capped the point. It's back into their favor, further delaying that overtime. Now the window going to be, or sorry, the feed is going to be invested here by Vinheim. Crossing my wires on voice lines right there at the moment, but they're holding this one up. Overtime forced out. All the marbles here to play for on the side of SPG. Nano invested, Aid again the recipient. Looking for Krillin, takes him low. Keeps himself alive for the time being. Void has to pull back away. The flip is in. Dynasty lose control. It's a rush available from the side of Krillin, but Prophet going to be taken down as Aldo finds that kill. Easy Han, however, finding one. Wuchen now going to be eliminated as well as he goes out his own rush. Vinheim trying to keep everybody alive. Receives that green HP here from Void, and the axe across the Milgaru takes him down. Void finds another, and that should just about be it. Flip just has to come back through, but they've cleared out the point. They've gotten the team kill, and Aid cannot re-arrive in time. He will bleed away, and it's going to be 3-1 here for Dynasty to go ahead and now move up 2-1 in the series.
No reverse sweep on Flashpoint. Dynasty leading the series, feeling much better about that performance. They beat the ball as well. That's the important part. I mean, you got to get past the fact that ball has been an issue for just about every single team. I mean, that's been the one part of SPG that's been really strong, assuming that we're playing the ball on the correct maps, and this is one of those correct maps. But the Seoul Dynasty, Void comes in prepared, knows what the game plan is. He comes in angry, he comes in fragging out straight away on the first point. The Seoul Dynasty will eventually finish with you know, one lost point, but otherwise some decent gameplay, close enough on Ruins that things could have possibly still gone sideways, or Temple rather. That was the final point, actual final point. Easy Gun coming back on the Soldier, Prophet back over towards the Tracer. Seoul Dynasty already had the backup, they already had the distance, they just need to lock it out.
All right, well, now the series in their hands, and they get the closer. We're gonna have to just wait and see. SPG again will have their map pick as we get ready to go to push. We'll see where they want to take us when we come back. Alrighty, we are back and going into what could very well be the final map here of the weekend as the Dynasty find themselves at match point. Just one more win as we get ready to go into push. We can close it out there. That'll be the end of Sin Prisa's run through this lower bracket as well as their season. We'll see if the Dynasty are going to be able to make it happen. Looking very much reinvigorated after that last map, as well as, well, put it frankly, Void, who is still going to be playing. He looked pretty pissed off. I think he was pretty upset about his performance and the team's performance in the opening map of the series, and boy, did he make up for it in huge ways.
Yeah, and so fast, 3-1, you know, we didn't even go the full distance there. They prevented any sort of major comeback from Sin Prisa. And they lead the series. Again, looking to prevent any major comeback from Sin Prisa in said series. Queen Street coming up next. We haven't seen Queen Street in a while. It's been a lot of Esperanza, a lot of Coliseo.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting New Queen Street. I'm trying to do a little bit of guesswork here. Trying to remember how good of a ball map New Queen Street is, if at all. I want to say it's possible.
Play statue side for sure.
Well, everyone does play statue side, so that's the normal rollout. Although that statue is relevant for about 1 minute in the game, and the other 9 minutes we don't go there again.
Precisely.
It doesn't exist anymore.
Well, we'll see.
You know what?
It's going to be that ball reappearing, but I don't know.
Look
Ball
for that
hasn't been
statue in
found
Toronto.
yet.
Live in Toronto, on site. Gotta be searching for the statue. And you know what? If that statue is not there in Toronto somewhere, I feel lied to. I feel like the entire city of Toronto is lied.
Where are the hovering buses? I was lied to. What a shame.
Where are the giant null sector warships?
Yeah.
Hovering above the city.
I heard that for the grand finals, we're gonna have a real live appearance from Winston. He's gonna come up. He's gonna show up. He's a real scientist. He exists. Can you imagine if we just unleashed a gorilla into the arena? Oh boy, the chaos that would cause.
You know what? You can do an X-Men crossover. It was actually Beast, and he comes in his Hank McCoy human form, brother. And that's how you justify it.
Well, what form do we get now from Milgard? That's the one that I'm looking to. Speaking of tanks and whatnot, is it going to just be Orisa off the rip here? Will he be putting the ball away? Because it did not find value on on Midtown. It did not find that much value into that last map. Can he run it again? Will it be enough to convince him to just stray away from it? Opt into perhaps the Junker Queen matchup, or just go for the Orisa?
If they wanted to play pure Orisa, they should have gone to Coliseo.
True.
Because I think
good point.
Junker Queen is just fine on that map, but not amazing. Whereas Orisa is pretty damn good there. So this is curious. I think this is actually a reasonable map for Void. I think if you're Void, you're happy with this one. Nice flat map. Don't need to traverse high ground, low ground. Lots of flanking angles to get around and trying to reverse rampage and all the kind of cool tech. Seoul Dynasty are probably quite happy to be here, to be honest.
I don't think they're going to be too perturbed about it. But it will all come down to the play. But on their last legs right now for this 2023 season within the Overwatch League are Sin Prisa. Need to run this back, take it all the way to 5. If they want to stick in this lower bracket and continue to take down the Owl squads. You can see it right now, though. Obviously, some time to swap. And Milgar looking like he's going to be rolling out with that ball.
Yeah, I mean, I think last year, Balastria, when he was still on Fusion, actually did play ball on this map a few times. It's a very different meta, though. I mean, it was a wild time, so it's hard to say that, like, oh yeah, this is a good map just for that alone. We do know that SPG picked this for a reason. Like I said, if they wanted to play Orisa, they would have gone elsewhere. So, yeah, we are at ball time on Queen Street.
Ooh, bit of flex there from Prophet, nearly taking down Wuchan. Almost found that elimination. Although at the moment here onto the high ground, just trying to harass where possible. Immortality Field going to be cleared out, receives one of his own here, does aid. The bot is now going to be unlocked. Pile driver into the back, gets the knock up, sets up for the kill. Although taking down Viname. Very nice early kill to be found here for the side of Sin Prisa to try to get this bot moving in their favor.
First minute gone, and still no one really winning the neutral, despite SPG getting some minor push. They're still getting some push at the moment. Dynasty seem to have forgotten about the payload, and this is all just free pickings in terms of meterage gain for now.
Work it forward just a little bit. 13 meters established there as the HP bars continue to get whittled away out here on the side of the Dynasty. Yeah, as the ult pops it. Bring up the window here, statue side. For some damage, puts a little bit across on the Milgar, but he's not going to be too bothered by that. Tickling him really. Move back there onto Aid. Captive Sun coming through. Aid going to be taken down. That's a line share, that damage that you would want to have to play off the back of that Captive Sun. But Prophet's still going to get caught out as Milgar crashes through, finds Krillin. EasyCon taken down, and all the easy scoop up onto Vidheim. Taking him down so very low. Quick pickup. Dynasty with the lead for the time being, but it seems like it's not going to last very long at all as they just get rid of Void. Does have a bit of staying power here on this bot. Gets himself up to that rampage for the follow-up fight, but Bot's right back into control here of Sin Prisa.
Yeah, good turnaround from Wuchan, and already back on a 58% by the way, so tons of damage and healing. Just ulted and pretty more than halfway. I believe he actually managed to proc both of the Sunstroke statuses, and one of them did get blocked by an Immortality Flare. He got that correctly, but still plenty of damage in there and just couldn't get healed up.
Artillery out, just finds the Immortality field. And we'll get rid of that healing pylon. Blade at the ready here from the side of Prophet. Window used by Hyunjae. He's going to get jumped on, and Prophet instantly finds the kill. Back up here. As the Sunstruck does come across, he's still going to be fine. 80 HP, surviving. Artillery strike from Aid does take down Vidheim. Casualties on either side, but there's both supports taken away from the side of Sin Prisa. Until 29 with the bot now moving in favor of this whole Dynasty. Getting back into a push position as there's some late deaths on the back end.
Well played in terms of LOS by Void there. To get the kill to Aid, who's going to give up on the... No, going to go back to the bash. He's going to go Genji for a second. Both would have been fine. Not bad. Pulse bomb. Another stick from All, though. Love to see that. It's going to slow down the Dynasty. We'll get the lead first, but Dynasty can't attempt a cap yet.
Pile driver in again. Great setup here. It's EasyCon killed himself off actually with the nade. It took Aid down with him. And a 2-for-1, but one that still very much does favor the side of Sin Prisa, and Void going to be taken down. And once again, we're just going blow for blow. You get the bot, you get the lead. I get the bot, I get the lead.
Time to prioritize a little bit more long-range damage now. EasyCon over towards Soldier. Krillin, obviously, now that Hyunjae's over towards the Ana, you gotta bring the Kiriko out, because you gotta help out Void here. Super important. I think to really block out the Rampage, so Void can find this. SPG are not gonna be happy about it, given that Wuchan is on the Illari instead of the Kiriko. It's a good opportunity for Void to carry this fight.
Get the setup. This is the only ultimate moment. Look at that knife pull. Nothing really found. I mean, drop it.
Good dive.
Oh, God. Yeah, just up on top, shut down instantly. But made from Hyunjae to go ahead and claim the kill. Lead again, about to be taken here from the side of Sin Prisa. Minor hiccups for them, but able to deal with it with relative ease. Take the lead and push their way closer and closer towards that checkpoint. Krillin stuck into the corner, although comes to the rescue, just diving in alongside Milgar, finds that kill. Checkpoint now going to be snatched up.
I mean, what a late death. Krillin doesn't die there, and Vidheim and Krillin both get back to the team. Maybe there's a chance of recontesting, but in this situation, absolutely not. Krillin thought about going towards the Illari. He's now going to go back over towards the BAP. I think Kiriko's probably still a better choice. Decide to go for the BAP instead. So we're going to give Hyunjae a really good matchup opportunity now.
Rampage still held. Bot getting taken away. Intercepted now. BG wanting to keep it locked here on this side of the map. So the Mano is available. Just waiting to pull the trigger on that one, although down below half HP. Getting top back up. Artillery strike now coming through. Just looking to pave the way to try to clear things out. Vidheim stuck into the corner. Getting beaten, battered, but still surviving for a little bit longer. But then eventually Milgar just dives in alongside that artillery fire to confirm the kill. Prophet falling lower and lower off screen. Dealt with. Milgar comes up with yet another one. Void is gone. This bot continues to push, and finally see SPG very much breaking away from Seoul Dynasty, not letting them get back onto this.
Yeah, I mean, this is looking like map 5 territory. SPG are pushing this one to triple digits. Dynasty got ultimates, but they just have no pacing. They have no tempo to actually be able to open up these fights. I mean, they have to be the ones to initiate. They got to actually punish SPG somehow. Wuchan with another ultimate. He farms these so quickly. Krillin's the target.
For the confirmed kill, but yeah, Krillin going to be able to survive as that down barrier comes in from Vidheim. Prophet pulling the blade, gets on top of Hyunjae, finds that kill. Void down to a sliver, however, gets taken out. Prophet finding a second, but I don't know if it's going to be good enough. Gets himself a third, a fourth, and suddenly like it is going to be winnable, at least in this little minor fight. Milgaro will be the one that gets away, but yeah, as you say, 114, 345 left in the time bank. Decently efficient there on the fight win, but Dynasty had so much distance to close.
I mean, I'm super happy if I'm SPG. That's an extreme amount of distance. And we're not playing Esperanza here, where opening cap is super easy to get. Dynasty don't have that yet, and that takes quite a bit of effort. Bulgaria is running circles around the Dynasty. At least Dynasty got that fight for pretty cheap. All played Sound Barrier and Blade, especially that Blade that ended up getting that 4K.
Sleep in onto Easy Han, dealt with quickly as Lijiang gets in on top of him. Bob and antied out. Yeah, finished off. Up into the air. Void is still going to be committing in with his rampage. Had the window to back him up, I suppose, but Krillin is now dead. That's so much of the healing gone. Vinheim does manage to find one, but now they're all just going to get taken apart. Boss still locked here into the neutral spot. They gain those forward spawns once again, just in time for Aiden and Lijiang to go ahead and respawn.
Maybe Void felt that he wasn't able to really back away and disengage properly. I mean, they're committed, so yeah, go for it. Now Eashan's going to go over towards the Sombra. They want to have some sort of ball counter, and that really does tell you the story of this particular game, where it's like, man, you're losing to the ball hard enough that you're going to go towards harder ball counters, and Void's even going to come in through on the Diva late in the day. See if it does anything. You can actually eat the artillery hits with the Matrix, so Void should probably do that.
Oh, and we have a pause. It's been a hot minute since this reared its ugly head, but seems like it was just a matter of time. But looks like it will be a pause called here by Milgaro. So Sin Prisa having some form of issue, which hopefully will get figured out very quickly so that we can get back into the action, get underway here very swiftly.
Seoul Dynasty have so much work to do, especially on a new comp as well. At this stage, they're essentially playing a full dive. Lucio Kiriko. Prophet still in the Genji. At least they'll be able to counter out Aid effectively. Milgaro is an issue, but this comp will be annoying for Aid. I wouldn't be surprised if Aid ends up swapping away from the Bastion. Bastion kind of gets farmed by the entire front line of the Seoul Dynasty.
It's been having a rough time of it so far. Looks like, okay, we are going to be all right. Back into the action. Talking about the swap-ups here on the composition, just trying to counter that fall. And Easy Han will be able to find that first kill, so Milgaro taken down off the rip. Just for the setup, back into stealth. See what the hack target is going to look like here. But still so much damage. There's still so much distance, rather, that needs to come through here for the side of the Dynasty with just 2 minutes left to do it.
Yeah, you gotta wait for these hack setups as well. And Prophet's your only other real diver. It's not like you have a Tracer. And you want to keep the Genji 2 flames bash because that's a positive matchup for the Genji. Or at least a skill matchup.
Lijiang taken down. Void able to push forward with the rockets, backed up by that sound barrier. Helps find that kill. Prophet, however, going to be eliminated. So the Nano goes across here onto Aid. Finding one, forcing them back away from the bot. Void just having to wait that out. Matrix can help get them on top of the Bastion, but killing them off still going to prove to be a bit difficult. Saldo skirting around the sides of this fight. Has that pulse bomb in his back pocket, just looking for a target, but he's going to be receiving quite a bit of damage, so has to pay respects, has to be playing back, and Krillin has managed to hound him down. Self-destruct out from Void, just trying to get back into the mech. Looks like he is going to be able to do so successfully. Keeps himself safe for the time being. It's right back into the front line, just trying to keep the rest of the squad protected and keep this bot moving forward, but still have to hit that checkpoint. EMP into the back line, catching 2. First target going to be Aid, but he takes one with him. Bouncing Nate forward, Easy Han dead. Prophet now pulling the blade, anti out onto 3, pulse bump, takes out Prophet. Vinheim now going to be eliminated. Just Krillin and Void left standing with 50 seconds left to go. They have to either have to get the hell out of dodge, or they have to reset right now. Looks like it's going to have to be a mix of both as Krillin does fall and Void tries to stay alive.
The Void has to live here because he's going to get mega staggered if not. That'd be a huge problem for the Seoul Dynasty. Good attempt to maybe get the cap, but man, they really needed the cap because the forward spawns would have helped them out a lot. Now they don't get forward spawns. They come from really far away. Waste more time, of which time is now extremely low for the Dynasty. One push to end it all, and they still have to double their distance. I mean, they're not even halfway, actually. It's more than double.
Not a good spot at all. Time working against them. Map 5 on the horizon. Dynasty close to the checkpoint. The bot still being intercepted, which I'm playing forward. Captive Sun at the ready. Pile driver knocks up one. Vinheim pulls the trigger, sends up the sound barrier. Shielding them up. Easy Han nearly taken down. Anti's still out onto 2. Void finds 1. Gunshot going to be eliminated. Now Prophet going to be taken down as Lijiang just sniping away. Finds 1, and they're not on the bot. So that comes to a conclusion. Sin Prisa will win here on their map pick. They took us to the Queen Street. They got the W. And now we go all the way to 5.
Seoul Dynasty just couldn't deal with the ball. So, ball not working out of Servasa, but New Queen Street, things start to look a little bit more positive. Even with Void in playing Junker going into reasonably good effect, just they weren't able to lock anybody down. Sin Prisa running circles, long sight lines on New Queen Street as well. And it turns out, you know, pick the map that favors the ball, and Sin Prisa are laughing to the bank. However, that now goes out of their hands. Seoul Dynasty, because they led the series, they will get the final map choice. This is where you're definitely going to be picking away from the strengths of Nilgara and Sin Prisa.
But is it going to be enough? That is the question forevermore. We saw them just kind of get slaughtered in that opening map of Control. It needs to be a better performance coming into this one. Otherwise, that could be the Dynasty getting eliminated and Sin Prisa claiming yet another Overwatch League team. But it's everything to play for this young contender squad. Their season on the line. We'll see if they can close it out. They've gotten us this far. Can they get the win? We'll find out when we come back. The long evening continues as we go into a final map between the Dynasty and Sin Prisa Gaming. Sin Prisa winning on that last map there. Their map pick on push. They took us to New Queen Street, and by God, they delivered. The ball came back out, and this time it was played to absolute perfection, much like we have come to anticipate from Milgaru from his previous performances. But now we do have this final map pick in the hands of the Dynasty as we get ready to go into Escort. I think I said it was going to be Control again earlier because I keep forgetting that this is the format now, but bear with me, it's been a while.
Well, yeah, at least get to see a little bit more Escort. Used to be that we got to see Escort all the time. And now we're going to see it almost none of the time, unless we go the distance. But it is a banger away to finish things off. Bellasria is going to be subbed back in to probably play some Orisa. I've got confirmation that we're going to go to Route 66 as well. So a decent map for Orisa. An okay map for Vol, actually. Not the worst map for Vol. Seems like Dynasty, okay, staying away from circle route makes sense. I don't know that you want to really rely on sniping. You also don't have two flex supports on your team, which makes things a little bit awkward. So that's probably a map you want to stay away from. And then, yeah, you got some like dive here, favored maps. You got some Gibraltar in there. You got some Dorado in there. And I guess this team doesn't feel like playing more dive. So off the route we go. I think we got a route earlier because we did a map 5, Sin Prisa versus Shanghai, and Sin Prisa demolished Shanghai on this map.
Yeah, we saw the full hold and the very easy push come in on this very map, so we'll see if that is going to be happening once again here, but Sin Prisa probably going to be smiling a bit as far as seeing this map coming up. Don't expect them to be too perturbed by it.
I have to try and cast my mind back in terms of what exactly got played. I suppose it doesn't take too much effort. I can just go and check. It was over damn quick. Where is it? Hang on. I'm gonna need a second.
It's all good. Take your time. I'll just go ahead and get loaded up into this one. This one, surprisingly, Milgaru already going to be flashing that ball.
Yeah, but he didn't play ball though. He actually played Orisa.
Yeah, he did play Orisa, yeah.
Double flex support. A little bit of Bastion, mate. And they just held. They just full held. Dragons didn't get any distance. And SPG just rolled up and won. So we had him at 5, but it was a very quick affair. There it is, same comp again. May, double flex support, Orisa Bastion, Dynasty doing mostly the same thing, but they have the extra sim. Which on the defense is like, I don't know, like I feel like having, I think the Ortho May is a big difference maker. Really. Because it's not like Prophet is gonna, you're not gonna TP your team aggressively into the other team to brawl out. So you're kind of just doing it to rotate between different areas of the map and secure some high ground, which is not insignificant, but
Bellasria.
Those been doing a lot of stuff on the May earlier.
Bellasria off on his lonesome, and yeah, he gets picked off, which I'm able to find that elimination. A little bit of damage there on both of these Alaris, but both going to be surviving for the time being. But without that main tank, without that tank in general, I should say, Dynasty very much have to fall back behind Big Earls, just keep themselves hidden for now. Milgaru, an opportunity to try to take the lead towards that Terra Surge. Made from Easy Han to try to force them back. Hyunjae gets knocked down to half HP, but the healing steadily comes in to keep him topped up. Now, top control Big Earl is going to be established here for SPG.
A little bit of free pushing as well. That push is slowed down now that no one's really onto the payload, but with Aid being knocked back, he might have to be the one solo pushing his way through. Window is not getting enough value at the moment. Dynasty have survived. Prophet pulls out the massive shield wall, and SPG are losing the fight.
Carving up the map here, Prophet going to zone them back. Spots one in there on the flank, which then got to be taken down by Easy Han. Yell's kind of scattered to the wind right now from the side of Sin Prisa. Just waiting for Wuchen to come back in and join them. That's the window. Gone from Hyunjae, now popped from Vinheim. We're going to shove them back even further. Sets it up for Easy Han to make easy use out of it. May wall denies a little bit. Now Aid going to be popping that artillery strike to see where they land. There's Prophet, potentially caught. That last shell. A little bit too late to try to actually confirm the kill. Prophet survives. Jump up into the air. I'm not sure if that actually connected.
Got two.
Only able to get one, but Aldo finding one. Krillin getting taken down by 8. Kills gonna be found. Easy Hunt able to exchange one back. Belisria dabbling forward, finds Aldo, but he himself under fire, taken down, and that should be Cap. Here coming through onto A, so a bump up in the time bank here, just over 4 minutes to work with.
Yeah, not bad. Wu-Chan actually gets 2 players there, gets a couple of detonations while SPG will be able to push their way through. After a little bit of effort required. Again, the original window from Hyunjae left a little bit to be desired. It seemed like Seoul Dynasty were able to recover off the photon barrel from Prophet, but maybe not the case, as it was a very low lethality, low kill kind of exchange from both teams until the end. Straight off the rep, Krillin will start things out on Aldo. We have a lot of praise to Aldo's ability to find first bloods, but this time he'll be first blooded.
Takes him out. So we get into a bit more of an open spot. Finding value with this Blizzard can prove to be a bit more difficult. Try to drag the Dynasty down onto the card itself. Nilgar just going to be making his exit now. Doesn't want to overstay. His Prophet was getting energized here with the Symmetra.
Good high ground control. This is what you want. Bash and double flex support composition. Play away is strong. Look at sight lines from Krillin is really clean as well. You can hide the pylon super easy. I mean, look at that. That pylon is not going anywhere.
Yep. Back up the top, Javelin from Nilgar going quite wide, unable to displace that high ground. Nade through the window, but TP going to be used. They take themselves out to safety. Captain Sun still at the ready here from Krillin. Nearly 5 ults built up to the side of the Dynasty to try to get some control of this card. Here's the Photon Barrier once again from Prophet, just cutting the map in half, with some good damage down, forces out the Immortality Field. Slows up SPG a bit as they try to go ahead and top off the tank once again. Prophet falling low, gets himself dropped down onto the low ground. It's that healing pylon as well, just consistently just keeping them ticked up. Belisria finding another one. It's a decent peel, although dropping down off the rooftop, just gets himself into the ice block. Staying protected as Milgar going on an aggressive push. Pushes forward, trying to find that kill. Krillin out up over the top though. Captain Sun at the ready. Drops it in, looks for the kill. Aid falling low. Drops down and ends up dying. Krillin going to be traded out, however. Hyunjae going to be good for 1, but now he falls. Prophet finding a second. The trade up is going to be there, and Prophet is looking for more. Rushing him down, just beaming him into oblivion. Kills are found, and the cart stays halted. 2 minutes remaining.
And actually, at this part of the map now, the Prophet Sim starts to find a lot more value. On A, I was dubious about it. On B, with the distance of, obviously, the size at this point, but also the height difference between the top of that middle building to the ground level and all everything else in between, you start to really get some good advantages. You can see the SPG are struggling to rotate around and find targets to be able to shoot down as well. Bit of a huge problem as the artillery. Destroy the turret. Yeah, why not? Just clear the TP. Yeah, it's not going to do too much else, so get rid of some structures.
A little bit, but too much is going to be done otherwise. Just going to work their way back over onto the card to try to get this one moving. 12 seconds now remaining here for the side of Sin Prisa. The pressure very much stacking up against him, and Belisria still just occupying high ground. Holding on to that ultimate to try to clear them off. Pressure on the flank. Krillin just looking to poke and prod where possible. He's very close to having that next ult available, but that's going to be a big opener here as Nilgaru finds Easyhan. Artillery now out of the fight. Again, ult here from Prophet as Wu-Chan's just way off over the side of the map there. Javelin sending him into oblivion. He goes down. Milgar trying to stay forward. Has that fortify rolling, but Prophet can just microwave him down. Ends up being the Iron Price, though. Aid covering fire. Managing to find the kill. Air search from Milgar. Not going to be finding too much value, but still buys them some space. But now he's got to back away. Belisria pursuing forward alongside this artillery. They managed to scoop the kill. Javelin going wide, but now just 27 seconds remaining here for the side of SPG, and they're still losing members. Aid, a very late death. Although, speaking of late deaths, gets taken down. Easy to find him. That's a massive stagger.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be rough now. SPG are basically going to be onto the OT as they still have to find a way to touch as well. And the payload distance, and this is the double-edged sword. They pushed it a fair amount, but now, in order to touch, they have to walk up quite a wee while as well. Belisria guarding it. Will not stop Nilgaru from initiating the final touch. But still, height advantage is there. Oh, I think the Captain just got the one.
Right up on top of him, gets the melee, hit the takedown. Hyunjae, 8 dead moments before. That's just going to be the cleanup coming through. Suddenly, Milgar is the last one standing, but not for long. Take him down. And this time around for SPG, it's going to be a bit more of a brutal affair for them here on Route 66. Really clean from the side of the Seoul Dynasty. They successfully defend about halfway to point B.
I think, again, once more, no real issues there. There's plenty of ways to get onto Big Earls. You get to B, and I think the mobility of the Seoul Dynasty, their double flex supports that can instantly jump up on top of the roof, the TPs from Prophet that can help everyone else move around as well, set up on the off angles. Seoul Dynasty have just such great LOS control on B. Payload got okay distance, but realistically, you want more. That's still not quite enough. Oh, it's a spear cancels. Well, it wasn't just a shove off the point, off the map. It's also a cancel. So, lost an ult there for Wuchan.
All right, well, everything now into this defense. I mean, this is where SPG set themselves up for success just a day ago. Can they replicate that? A full hold. That'd be them punching their ticket further forward here in this lower bracket, keeping the season alive. Or will it just come grinding to a halt? We're back onto the May 4, although keeping the comp the same. Dynasty have been looking riled up, fired up, and ready to play.
Well, the May is certainly going to be a lot of value on A. So we can sort of block off a lot of angles, especially in the early choking. This first phase of A, very good for all, though. Seoul Dynasty, they're not going to change anything either. Both teams will play the exact same as they already have. Very back positioning from SPG. They don't even want to play for the rail cards. They're going to just go straight to Big Earls.
Right here, hugging onto the corner. TP up onto the high ground. There's the push in, and it works absolute perfection here for the side of the Dynasty. Aid going to be taken down nice and early. Hyunjae now dead as well. Wuchen left out the dry. Just cannot survive. Taken out. The defense is crumbling very early on here for the side of SPG. Extended team kill comes through, and that opens up so much space here for the side of the Dynasty. Yes, SPG, they will have an opportunity to go for a recontest, but it needs to be damn clean to stop this card.
And Vindime's going to have ultimate as well, which means SPG are in a rough spot. Massive ult advantage because it'll be the only one on board. You can set that sucker up really far away as well. Much further away than SPG can really do too much about it outside of maybe putting up a wall. Here comes the recontest.
Coming through.
Wall's already gone.
Just push their way through. Dropping shot down at the cart to try to keep things slowed up. Cart is a couple meters away. Pushing across the line. Somebody's going to have to contest that one. And now you see him coming through. 4.4 meters left to go. Push back here on Milgaru. Back into the tank form. Goes Easyhan looking for a target. But Vinheim, he's already found one of his own. Although going to be taken out. Immortality field cleaned up very quickly. The drop down up over the top. Easyhan just gunning straight into Hyunjae's head. Takes him out. And once again, it's swept under the rug here. This PG just cannot find their footing. Wuchen quite far forward, as is Aid. They have to just go ahead and get this reset off. Zizgan will collect 2 more kills, now just 20% away from having that artillery strike that could be the finisher on this map, on this series.
That is the perfect start for the Seoul Dynasty. Now they are ready for maybe the perfect finish as well. They cap A with very little fanfare. They just straight TP on top of Aid and shove through the rest of the map. Early ultimate for Vindime, not the best retake from SPG. Not more they could have done either, to be honest with you. And then 2 late deaths as they break open the gates for B. That is quite literally a flawless attack.
It's been going incredibly well for him thus far. Vinham, however, going to be taken out. Aid finally finding something here for the squad, but Krillin takes the skies. Captive Sun's out on either side. Looking for some targets. Krillin sends it down. Looking for Hyunjae. Bursts through the immortality field, and he finds himself just absolutely annihilated.
That should be it.
The cleanup comes through, and that should just about be it. Wuchen, the last man standing. No kills found. 5 men alive on the side of the Seoul Dynasty as the cart continues to roll forward. Can anybody even touch is the question. Mungaru going to be trying to swap over onto the Wrecking Ball to get there in time to get this contest going. Just has to give up on that Orisa ultimate. Playing for everything, but playing for nothing. The cart will glide through, and Dynasty will put an end to this reign of terror here from the side of Sin Prisa Gaming. They say, not us, not like the Dragons. They best them 3-2 in the series, going the distance, and unfortunately for Sin Prisa, they put up some impressive performances throughout their run, but this is the end.
And how poetic as well, the way the series started to how it ended. Seoul Dynasty got, I mean, they got completely battered in that first Lijiang. It was not close. They got destroyed, demolished. whatever other adjective you want to use to describe it, Seoul Dynasty were not present whatsoever, and that was even with Void in. You finish things out. Illustrator comes into play a little bit of the Orisa for Route 66. It was the map choice of the Seoul Dynasty, and they made it look easy. A, defense, okay, maybe could have gone a little bit better. B, defense, so ironclad. They held strong. Barely let that much distance go through. On the attacking side, didn't even lose a single fight. From start to finish, from A to B, it was all Seoul Dynasty all the way. Map 5 was clean as a whistle.
Well, they even things out here for the Seoul teams in the end by getting the win. Still in that lower bracket, but still alive, clinging onto this tournament. Let's try to see just how far they can go. Dynasty live to fight another day. I mean, we'll get into the player of the match here in a brief little moment, but I just want to give another little mini round of applause to the side of Sin Prisa, who continue to impress us. Obviously, some roughness there. The ball forced out on Midtown, forced out going into our Flashpoint map as well. Not finding nearly as much value, but overall, fantastic performances from all 5 of these players, and I'm really looking forward to seeing more of them in the future, whichever team it may be, whether it's this one, whether they get picked up by some other squads, whatever. Clearly, some talent there. Profit is going to be our player of the match. Now, you and I had a little bit of disagreement about this one compared to the rest of the
Not with each other.
Not a disagreement with each other. We were very much aligned. But Profit, he's going to be getting player of the match.
I will say Prophet has had a very different look for the second half of the season here, where he has to kind of play a little bit more of a supportive role. It's no longer the Prophet carry show, which is not to say that he's not doing his job, but his job now looks different because he's not getting to play as much Tracer. Still gets to play a little bit of the Genji in there because, you know, we do have some Void Junker Queen with Prophet Genji moments. However, rare that is with the fact that Prophet mostly plays Sim now. That's just it, right? When you're a Sim player, you're kind of like on a supporting position. Even though you're in DPS, you're not going to be the main frag. You're not going to deal the most damage. You're not going to get the most final blows. You have a Bastion on your team who's going to be farming most of that. But so much of his job is now to enable the rest of his players. And for a player that's been he's been the hyper carry position for the better part of 6 years, you know, he's having to now mature into different parts of his role. I mean, he even played support last year. We've seen all these different looks and faces and phases of Prophet now to round out his career in the 6th season of Al.
Yeah, I mean, man's played every single role throughout his career too. We've seen him bouncing around in that regard, but it's a more supportive, set from him as of late. You and I, we went for Void. We'll just go ahead and throw it out there. His impact, yes, everybody played like complete garbage in the first map, to be real. But as soon as Void came back into the fold, good God, he was angry and he was playing out of his mind. So that was our little shout. So another nice little one there to the side of Void. Bellstreet as well, strong performance in the maps that he did play. But Prophet at the end of it all, he is the end all be all when it comes down to the Dynasty. He is the constant for this team, and he gets himself yet another player of the match.
I'll tell you what, Bellstreet, 100% win rate here. On what? Midtown comes in, dub. It's subbed in for Route 66, another dub. So
he got his win yesterday.
He played as Orisa. It's his role. It's his hero. And we weren't even thinking, is there going to be some Bellstreet ball versus Milgara ball? Not today. Dynasty are not going to get baited by any Wrecking Ball, even though they have themselves a very good Wrecking Ball player. They're going to stick to what they know works, which is hard meta. When sometimes it pays to be creative, other times it pays to meta slave away.
Well, on Prophet, I'm sure we'll get to hear from him in a brief little moment as we get the interview set up. We'll have the Unknown guide us through that one. I'll have to just wait and see what they have to say about this win. Imagine probably a little bit of a bittersweet one, because you're the Al team, you're the big bros coming into this one. You're the ones who've been around the block, and I feel like ending a Young Buck squad's season, it can't feel good. But at the same time, Prophet also likely doesn't care if he wants to win. So I don't know. We'll have to just wait and see as we'll take a glance back here. Some of the highlights from him throughout the series.
And you know what? I think we always knew that the faded Soul Ball would return one more time. And why not? What a way to cap out the rest of the knockouts here. As I actually forgot that Prophet even brought out Intold today, but yeah, that was actually here for map 2. But otherwise, all about the Sim. It was on Sim duty the whole time. A little bit of Genji on map 4.
I would once again like to push the name forward. instead of the Soul Ball for the Bibimbap Brawl. Just laying that out there.
Doesn't have the doesn't have the alliteration.
It does. It has 3 Bs.
Oh, but that's but you know what I'm
It
saying.
has-
That's within the same word. Though.
Soul
What
Ball
about-
doesn't have alliteration. It just rhymes.
Correct. And that's sometimes all you need.
I, for
What
one,
about the
not a
rhymes?
fan. I'm gonna keep calling it the Bibimbap Brawl. I'm the one who lives in Seoul, so I think that I get to dictate that one. So that's gonna be my claim. But whatever. You guys can call it whatever you want. Either way, hopefully an exciting map. Because I mean, that was what our opening match of the season, was it not? Between those two teams, and ended up going the distance, and then the Dynasty started falling off the cliff. So hey, maybe it'll deliver once again. Because I mean, after today, Infernal certainly looking very killable. Dynasty looking like they are very much capable of being able to rally back and get themselves in the driver's seat once again for the series. But it looks like, since we have the interviewer down on stage, we're going to be jumping into the interview. So I'm going to go ahead and pass this over to Unknown.
안녕하세요, 프리피 선수 반갑습니다.
Hello, Prophet.
안녕하세요.
네,
Hello.
패승승패승 역전승까지 가지고 오셨습니다. 지금 환한 미소도 보여주셨는데요. 승리 소감 먼저 부탁드리겠습니다.
Although not necessarily a reverse sweep, you
일단
came
이번
up
주
from
경기
behind.
모두
How do you feel?
승리로 마무리하게 돼서 좋은 것 같아요.
Well, I
아,
mean,
그렇습니다. 오늘 정말
we
좋은
started,
모습 많이
we well
보여주셨는데
ended the day
특히나
and also started the day with the
시네트라로
win,
정말
so I
좋은
guess
모습
it's
많이
very good.
보여주셨습니다. 이 광자 방벽으로 상대 진영을 가르기도 하고 특히나 이 순간 이동기 플레이가 정말 돋보였는데요. 얼마나 연습을 하면 그렇게 한 몸처럼 움직일 수 있을까 하면서
Well,
감탄을 하면서
all
봤는데
around, the team
그
maneuvering with the Symmetra was really, really impressive.
인적으로 원래 상의를 하신
However,
건지, 아니면
how
프로티
much
선수가
have you been
개인적인
practicing this,
판단으로
and also
그렇게
who
하신
makes the
건지가
calls
궁금합니다.
for the TPs to go in and out?
다 같이 러쉬를 하는 조합에서는 팀적으로 맞춰서 다 같이 깔고 저 혼자 할 때는 제 생각으로 깔면서 하는 거예요.
So usually when we go in together as a team, whoever gets the best angle calls for the TP. If I'm trying to like do a individual flank or something like that, I make the calls individually.
운영이 정말 좋았었던 서울 다이너스티인데요. 지난 시즌에 샴발리 수도원이 기억이 날 만큼 굉장히 좋은 모습 많이 보여주셨습니다. 이 플래시 포인트에 대한
So your
서울
Flashpoint
다이너스티의 자신감은
strats
어느
are really
정도가
impressive,
될까요?
almost reminding us of how Dynasty was unbeatable in Shambali Monastery at Spring
플래시
Stage.
포인트 맵
How
자체가
confident are you in
안전이 많이
Flashpoint?
일어나는 것 같아서 저희가 잘할 수 있을 것 같아요. 계속.
So because
그
Flashpoint
난전에
inevitably
강한
has a
서울
lot of
다이너스티의
skirmishes, I
장점을
think
앞으로도
like
기대를
being
해볼 만한 것
mechanically
같습니다.
good makes us
돌고 돌아서
best
이
fitted
다음
for
매치가
this map.
서울 더비가 완성이 되었습니다. 이 다음 매치에 대한 각오 마지막으로 여쭤볼게요.
Next up is the Seoul Derby. Do you have any
저번
resolves coming into
경기에는
this match?
저희가 졌었는데 이번에 다시 만나서 꼭 복수할 수 있도록 노력하겠습니다.
Well, of course,
네,
last
끝까지
time we
응원하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
fell to the hands of the Seoul Infernal. This time it'll
네,
be different.
지금까지
And
프로티
that's the
선수와
end of the
인터뷰
interview. Back to you, Seth.
나눠봤습니다.
All right, well, thank you very much, man. A few words there. Looks like he's acknowledging, much like us, he's acknowledging that it's a bit late and wants to get some rest because obviously there is going to be work to do here for the side of the Dynasty. Have a little bit of time to get prepared for that next matchup, of course, for the Bibimbap Brawl, as I'm going to continue to call it. But here's the results on the day. We started off very swiftly with the Hangzhou Spark, surprisingly taking down the Dallas Fuel in 3-0 fashion, very one-sided. But then we started to really grind things down to a halt. We got that 3-2 in from Poker Face, taking out Dreamers. We got that 3-1 from O2 Blast, knocking the Seoul Infernal down into the lower bracket to set up for the Bibimbap Brawl. And then, of course, here, rounding things out with yet another 5 mapper. As we can see, though, on the Group A bracket, with that win, with their ticket punched into the final of Group A, Hangzhou Spark have clinched the playoffs.
And honestly, if you ask them, it's not surprising at all because they've beaten Fuel 3 times this year. They are like undefeated versus Fuel. So it's been very favored in terms of that particular rivalry here in the East. Spark have nailed Fuel time and time again. The Fuel, they still got a shot. They're still in it for a potential run here. Spark may have clinched a spot. There's still one more spot left to play through, and the eligible teams include the Dallas Fuel. It includes also Infernal. It includes O2 Blast, and I'm pretty sure that's all. So Dynasty, I mean, they can do some funny things here. They can certainly upset some teams. Dallas Fuel would love it if Dynasty beat Seoul Infernal, because I think that would actually give Dynasty, sorry, that would give the Dallas Fuel their shot in as well. But for everybody else, it's into the play-ins. Except, unfortunately, for the contenders teams, SBG are going to be out. Poker Face, I'm pretty sure they're out as well. But still plenty of teams that we have left on the docket that actually have a real shot.
O2 Blast They could make the run. They could very well still make it happen. But here's going to be the matchups here for next Saturday. As the teams have plenty of time to go ahead and get back on the grind and get prepped up. It's going to be Poker Face versus Dallas Fuel. We'll see how that one fares. Dallas Fuel very much needing to rally back, much like the Seoul Infernal, our #1 squad throughout the duration of this season, falling now down in the lower bracket against the Seoul Dynasty once again. See whether or not they're going to be able to clinch that spot. Otherwise, it could very well be left open to the sides of O2 Blast. So plenty more action, of course, going to be coming up in the coming weeks. And still that last spot available. Not sure who's going to be able to get it. We'll have to just wait and see.
O2's beaten both Seoul teams at this stage, so they're going to get a rematch no matter what. It's just going to come down to which Seoul team will make it to the final. And obviously, if you're an Infernal, you have a little bit more on the line because your pathway to the playoffs can still be claimed within this bracket itself. For Dynasty, they're already in the play-ins in terms of where they will have to go to find their pathway. For O2 Blast, they're still in. I mean, if they can win the finals, whoever they get between Dynasty and Inferno, if O2 Blast win the finals, possibly it comes down to some sort of map differential tiebreaker kind of deal, but that would be their shot in playoffs. And O2 Blast, because they're only one game away, I mean, they have such a legitimate chance to go to Toronto as a contenders team. That would be a hell of a way to finish the season.
Yeah, I mean, a hell of a way to finish the season, to just be put your hand up and be like, hello, Overwatch League teams. I would like a contract, please. But it very well could happen. We could be seeing these players who, you know, in this kind of like modern era, haven't really gotten to play on LAN, and they'd be playing on the biggest stage that they possibly can in Overwatch. So that would be absolutely magical if it can happen, but we'll have to just wait and see. Like you said, there is going to be that rematch no matter what. It comes down to one of those, you know, whichever team it is, figuring out, you know, how much can they learn from that first matchup? Can they counteract O2 Blast? Can they pick them apart? And then, you know, be able to get some revenge there to be able to help punch that own ticket. Obviously for the Dynasty, not really the case. For the Infernal, very much as possible. But still, everything to play for. Pride is always on the line as well. You don't want to be limiting your chances and giving yourself a worse record at the end of the season. So everyone's going to be giving it their all, whether or not they're going to be able to punch their way into the playoffs through this tournament or not. So expecting some very bloody matches going into the next week. Poker Face, another team that, you know, while they might not have the same circumstances as O2 Blast, taking down Dallas Fuel, eliminating them from this knockout tournament, you know, as the current reigning and defending champions of the Overwatch League, that would be a pretty good thing to walk away with at the end of the season here for those guys. So there's a lot on the line, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how those matches are going to shake out, because it's just that Saturday and Sunday. We've just got 2 days next week to finish off this summer stage knockout, and from there, it's who knows what's going to happen. It's going to be very much up in the air. But that's going to do it for myself and Avril for this weekend. We'll be back, of course, to bring you guys the action next week. So be good to each other. Go watch NA, and we love you all. Goodbye.